All right, let's take a little tour of the property. It's been a while. Start with my pile of wall blocks in the driveway. But hey, there's 2 cars in the driveway and no piles of stuff. That's big. Start with the most uninteresting parts first. Oops, totally unfinished side yard still. Missing porch. Check this out. Got a lawn installed. Sprinkler systems. We've been getting tons of plants. Oops, I left the hose out. For free from our neighbors. Our neighbors have so many plants. We're on a Buy Nothing group on Facebook, and people just keep giving us plants. It's awesome. Play set. Nothing interesting to me, but if any children are watching. Some extra rocks from the pond build. Made it over into the side yard here. This is landscape fabric. We had a birthday party for my daughter. She just turned 4. It was her first real birthday party. Jess didn't want everyone to see our my giant piles of crap and lumber under the deck, so I put that landscape fabric skirting up pond stuff. Check it out. I don't know that I love it, but this is how I finished the little bubbling fountain in the bog. Bog plants are coming to life. I think right now I've got a bunch of different types of irises, some water willow, some mint, and I think almost all of this, except for this one iris here, and maybe this one here, all came from Addie on the Garden Pond Forum site. I still have to finish, back along this edge. That's a project for another day, but the edging is all done. And I think it looks pretty good. Oh, and Addie sent me like, I think 8 or 9 canna lilies in the fall. And we're like, okay, well, we'll see if that works. Most of them haven't come up. I'm gonna give them all summer to see what happens, but I think most of them died, but 2 of them here are making it. And they're gonna be so cool. To finish the edging, the way that I did this is, I can't remember where I learned this, probably an Aquascape video, but here's the liner. It's got, I've got protection, underlayment, overlayment over the liner. And then where I have these grooves, where the rocks come together, I took, expansion foam. I have a Pro Gun that I used, for doing all the waterfalls. The same way I do the waterfall, and I build little bib liners. And in some places, like over here, where there's a big space, I actually did, just like in the waterfall, made a bib liner and then foamed the liner in. And then you can just take your mulch, go right up to the edge, and then you totally and completely hide. See, the liner actually comes all the way back here because I've got 2 big rocks, and the type of liner I use, you can't stretch it into this corner to keep the line, to be tight against the rocks. So you'd either have to fill that with, pond gravel or something, and that, if you do that everywhere, it starts to look funky. This way, you can take your landscaping, you can't grow anything in there, obviously, but you can grow right outside of it and it'll grow into it. You can totally hide your liner and make it look like the landscaping comes right up to the edge of the rocks. In other areas, I just filled it in. And in some places I did it, you'll see maybe, I did it with some of that yellow low expansion foam, because the last can of black pond foam I had exploded on me in catastrophic fashion. I was picking black foam off my fingers for like a week. Anyways, let's move on. Check this out. Bridge, done. Stream, done. And again, I've got my temporary, deck skirting up, but I'll do some like horizontal fence panels, I think, in here, and you won't be able to see where the stream starts, kind of just like this. Flows into the pond. Last tiny little section of liner that I need to hide. Got a bunch of irises and water willow and mint coming up over here and over there. First little flower on, I think that's our water willow over there. The intake. fire pit's just sitting in the intake right now because it does not work here. I tried lighting a fire over this and this thing started to melt and get soft. So, well, I got to come up with another plan for this patio. I think what we're going to do is, what I'm actually going to do is, I realized I don't actually like the pea gravel. It just moves around too much, even though it's a really, really thin layer of pea gravel that I tried to compact really well. It just doesn't work out that well. I think what I'm going to do actually is bring the level, is remove the pea gravel and maybe use like a quarter minus, a compactable gravel, and actually just bring it all, excuse me, all the way up and just make it to match this level. And then I'll do something to, you know, around this to raise that level up. I'll figure it out one way or another, but for now, that's where fires happen. I made extensions for my pump cables, so the controls, for now, because I don't have a big enough junction box, they're just sitting in this, you know, plastic tote over here, out of the weather. But I used waterproof heat shrinks and some leftover 16 gauge, you know, some old 16 gauge extension cords to extend my cables. Still have a few leftover rocks. And then front yard with a unicorn in it, because of course you need a unicorn for a 4-year-old's birthday party. That thing sprays water out of its horn when you hook a hose up to it. That was a big hit with the kiddos. Oh, and there's a million tadpoles in the pond, and the kids really loved checking out the tadpoles, and they caught a bunch of them and put in a bucket, and then we released them back into the pond. Anyways, I saved these giant muggo pines from a neighbor, along with this heavenly bamboo, which for anyone who doesn't know, it's not actually bamboo, it's just a shrub. I don't know why it's called heavenly bamboo. I guess it looks like bamboo. Things are coming together around here. I do think the unicorn really ties it all together though. Clover's starting to come up, and the cracks in the steps.